Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video we're going to talk about 10 things that I bet you did not know about flight attendants. So stay tuned. Number 1, what route do I fly? I get this question a lot when I'm on the plane talking to passengers, if I'm in a princess seat or if I'm mid-cabin, depending on the aircraft. And the passenger wants to kind of drum up some sort of conversation with me because that we're sitting right next to each other. So I can only speak for myself. I don't know about any other airline, or I would say US airlines. I'm not sure about international airlines, but we don't have routes. You can have a preference, like some people preference West Coast, so that I guess could be considered their route, but it's not like, hey, you were hired to work New York to LA and that's it. No, it's not like that. Each week, each month, each trip, it can change. The beginning of this month, I went to Paris. The next trip I had, I was in El Paso. The trip after that, I was in Africa. And then my last trip this month is to Amsterdam. So I don't have a route. I know some airlines may do international and domestic. My airline doesn't do that. I get to fly both, which I think is best of both worlds. Mix it up. But yeah, we don't have routes, or at least I don't have a route. Number 2, which goes into number 1, is we don't fly with the same people, which can be a positive and a negative. A positive is if you don't gel with that crew, or if one person is problematic, I always tell myself I may never see this person again, or if I do, it may be weeks, months, years from now. And in the other hand, you may gel with that person or the whole crew so well that you want to fly with them again, but that may not happen for another year or two. I have a friend who I met on the line, and we gelled. And the funny thing was, within that month, I think I flew with him 2 or 3 times, but then after that, I don't think I saw him for another year, and now I haven't seen him, I think, going on 2 years. So it really depends on what the scheduling gods have in store for you, but you don't fly with the same people. Now, there is an exception to that. You can do something called buddy bid, where you and a friend bid together for the same schedule, where then scheduling or the scheduling computer will try and place you guys on the same rotation so that you both work together. Number 3, we don't get paid until the boarding door is closed and we have pushed back from the gate. So you know how you board the plane and you're sitting, you're waiting to leave the gate, and the captain comes on and is like,
ladies and gentlemen, we have a maintenance problem. It's going to be a while.
and you're just sitting and sitting and sitting, waiting to leave. All that time that door is open, we're not getting paid for it. Zero. Nothing. We don't get flight hours. You get per diem, but that's like $1 or $2, $3 maybe if you're going international, but we don't get paid until basically we are down the runway waiting to take off. Number 4, I also get asked a lot by passengers and family members who don't really know much about the aviation industry is, do we pay for our hotels? No, we do not pay for our hotels. Our company is responsible for assigning or getting all of that information and reservations together for us. We report to the airport for our trip. We work our trip. They give us the information of where we're laying over, what type of transportation is picking us up, whether it be the hotel shuttle or a private contract with another sort of transportation. Or sometimes, which I like, is when the hotel is in the airport. So you don't even have to leave the airport. You just walk outside of security and walk to the pathway or passageway to the hotel, and you're already on your layover. Number 5. This one, I don't know if it's that much of a secret, or it may be. But you know those long flights, like I would say 8 and up. International destinations where we're flying for hours and passengers are just sleeping sound in their, depending on what cabin they're seated in. We sleep too. There is something called crew rest, on different aircrafts where either below the cabin or above the cabin we have bunks that we sleep in. So we have a designated crew rest time where, depending on how long the flight is, we have a certain amount of hours that we are basically on break like you. Number 6. Most airlines have something called a reserve system where the flight attendant is basically on call for a certain amount of days per month or for that month, and they don't know where they're going. You either have a time frame that you sit on call or you sit in the airport, which depending on your airlines can be airport appreciation, airport standby. It has many different names, where you'll sit in the airport for a certain amount of hours, and if they need you, they'll call you and assign you a rotation. And if you don't, you're good. You're off duty for that day until your next on-call day. So most of the time we don't know where we're going. So when people are like, oh, where are you going today? And you're like, well, I don't know. That's why. They're probably on call or reserve. Number 7. Now, this isn't specific to every airline or at least every U.S. carrier, but there are some U.S. carriers where flight attendants are responsible for cleaning the plane. Now, I don't mean scrubbing the seats and vacuuming or wiping the seats down, and I'm talking about pre-COVID, but you're responsible for picking up the trash in between flights, crossing the seat belts. So our job entails so many different responsibilities that some of them include cleaning the plane. So when you leave your seat like a sandbox, don't be confused as to why the flight attendants are giving you a side eye, because now they have to go and clean up all of the mess after you before they go and work their next flight. Number 8. Now this one is a rule that really affects me because I'm a commuter. We aren't allowed to get off the plane until all the passengers are off the plane. So you know how you have those passengers who like to rearrange or repack their bag once we land, or go through all of their things, or even charge their phone. I remember coming back from LA one time. All of the crew were commuters, so we landed and we're trying to get that commuter flight back home, and we had this passenger who just would not get off the plane. So we went up to him. You know, we gave him a little bit of time because, you know, sometimes people would move slower than others, and that's fine. But it had been a few minutes, and we were like, is everything okay? Did you lose something? He's like, oh, I'm just charging my phone. I'm going to sit here for another 20 minutes. You guys can leave, though. I'll be all right. We were like, what? No, we can't leave. We can't get off the plane until you get off the plane. So, no, we can't get off until every passenger is off. And I definitely have missed flights because of passengers just in their own world taking their dandy time to get off the plane. Number 9. So this is something that I really think is a secret to passengers, or not a secret, but not known by passengers. But we can unlock the bathroom or the lavatory from the outside. So if you're doing something you're not supposed to and we're knocking on the door and you don't want to answer, we can still get that door open. So don't do something you're not supposed to. And in the other hand, if there's an emergency and that person's been in there for a long time and they're unresponsive, we can then go ahead and open the door and make sure that everything's okay. I won't tell you where we can unlock the door, but I'm letting you know it can be done. And last but not least, number 10. So when you see flight attendants being very adamant that you need to wear your seatbelt, or that during the exit row briefing they're trying to confirm that you are aware of your responsibilities in the event of emergency, or any other type of rule that they're trying to make it clear to you that you have to adhere or comply, it's because we can get personally fined by the FAA for not doing our job or not making certain rules known or expressed to you to let you know that you need to follow them. So if someone from the FAA is on your flight and say they're seated in the exit row and you didn't brief the exit row, that can be a personal fine to you yourself, that flight attendant, not to the airline that you work for, to that flight attendant. That can be upwards of $10,000. So when you see a flight attendant very adamant on certain rules, Keep in mind that they're doing their job, yes, but they can also get in a lot of trouble and a lot of fines put on them for doing their job. So just remember that. Alright, you guys, so that's all 10 things that I bet you didn't know about flight attendant. If you're a flight attendant and you think I've left something out, comment down below. Thanks for watching and see you guys in another video.